Billy,
Joey.
hasn't been that long, man. We've both lost our dads, and the grief is still pretty raw for us, yeah?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Still hurts.
Tonight's conversation, I think it's going to hit home for a lot of people, whether they've lost or not lost, don't you reckon?
100%, bro. I know it's definitely going to touch both of us.
Yeah.
I know that for sure, and everyone else watching, bro. It's going to be phenomenal, man. I can't wait to get into it.
Want to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Clarence House venues. As you can see, we are out of the studio. We're at this special venue for a special episode.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Joey. Very special venue. It means a lot. It's very sentimental to both you and me. And what better place to shoot it than right here at Clarence House?
Absolutely. This episode is a two-guest episode. It's something that it's going to rock a bit of boats. It's going to rock a few emotions. Both of them come from two different walks of life. Billy, can you talk about our first guest?
Our first guest's been through it all, Joey. He's probably been through the hardest of tribulations. Something that I don't think not many people can get through and see the other side like he has. He's he was one of a kind, and I can't wait to share his story and find out who this man really is.
Absolutely. We've heard a lot about this story, Billy.
Yep.
But we really haven't heard a lot about him and how he's actually doing.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to really delve in and check up on him. That our second guest, what a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Just a amazing human being through and through. Both very similar, but yet so contrasting at the same time. As I said earlier, both from two different walks of life, but have come together and they've formed a brotherhood.
Yeah, it's something you don't see every day, especially being two prominent figures, Joey. They're both trying to bridge the gap, both different walks of life, different stories, but same common goal.
Same common goal. Mate, I'm absolutely excited to get into this one, shall we?
Let's do it, bro. Let's go, man.
Go.
Billy, we're here again.
We're back again, Joey.
How good's this one?
Mate, the beautiful Clarence House.
Yeah.
Great setting.
Massive shout out to the Clarence House for putting us up for this one. Also, shout out to Mic'd Up. Ahmad Hraichie and Danny Abdallah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We can't thank you guys enough for giving us your time. I know Danny, massive supporter of ours.
Yep.
In the sense of what we're doing and the change we want to make, and I just find it beautiful what you and Ahmad have. Can we start off with how far back do you guys go, Ahmad, you and Danny? And
Look, I was on a plane to Lebanon, and he was on a plane to Dubai, and I was with my kids, Anthony, Angelina, Liana, Sienna, all my 6 kids in 2017 or...
Yeah, 17, I think, or 16.
And we met together and we just clicked, man. We got along and got talking.
So
and
what happened? He was in business class, mashallah. I was in first class.
oh, beautiful. He came and saw the peasants.
So I came to sit in the lounge area of the plane because I was bored by myself.
Yeah, okay.
And then I see this Arab-looking guy in the plane. It's like, hey, another typical builder. And then his son looks at me and just freaks out because I was this big bodybuilder.
You were training people in Dubai, yeah?
Yeah, I was training the prince, yeah.
Yeah.
And we just started talking. And bro, 14 hours flew.
Yeah, it did.
Like the lady had to tell us, go back to your seats, we're about to land.
Yeah, we got on.
And we just kicked off. He knew people I knew, Rabi Malice, and
Mutual friends.
we became at 40,000 feet, we connected.
Yeah, that was
So
beautiful.
it was amazing.
My son was in awe of his shoulders and arms, Anthony. He loved
God bless
Ahmed.
him, bro.
Yeah.
And his little daughter, the little one, she would look at me like this.
Sienna.
Yeah. And then I touched base with him after. I go, how'd your trip go to Lebanon? And how'd
Thank you. You did message me.
Yeah,
Yes.
I stayed in touch, and and then obviously time goes forward and the tragedy happened, but I had invited him to my farm, him and the kids to come to my farm in Young. I had like a resort style farm, and I said it'd be awesome, and he said that weekend that we were supposed to come
was the weekend of the tragedy.
The weekend of the tragedy.
That weekend.
Yeah.
He invited me. I said I can't make it. Last minute. I think we
It was
cancelled last minute.
Cancelled, yeah.
Yeah.
And my mum had passed away a couple of weeks before that. So I wanted someone to be around me, and he was going, then his own calamity happened, and it was such a shocking news, man. We were just in, but look, it took a calamity to bring a blessing, to humans. That's what you got to take always the good out of a situation.
Absolutely. The human spirit rises in times of tragedy. And me and Ahmad talk about it, and, depression doesn't discriminate. Sorrow doesn't discriminate either. There was a moment in time that weekend or those 10 days where all the walls fell and everyone came crying in the name of sorrow and grief. Those kids, I think, entered everyone's houses. And they were looking back, it was one of the most beautiful moments. Although the pain was there, you could see people come together.
I actually remember that day. We'll touch on what happened on that day, but when you say people came together, I was DJing a pre-wedding at Laylee that night.
Mm.
And when the news started filtering through, you just seen what obviously the show and the vibe of the place, how it just changed and how everyone was just together in sorrow.
Yep.
The party wasn't what it was. Like the party pretty much ended then. I just seen how everyone just was so shocked and standing together in solidarity. The moment this was probably an hour after it happened when the news started filtering through. So, on what you said, bro, it's so true. The sad thing in this is that it's sad that it takes something like that to bring people together.
Absolutely,
boys.
Yeah.
But we're here to break that.
We should.
We're here to break that.
I think I'll take a step back for all people that don't know my story. On the 1st of February 2020, my kids with their cousins went for a walk to get some ice cream, and there was a drunken drug driver. It was just in the suburban neighbourhood, mounted the curb and ran over 7 children, where 4 died instantly: Anthony, Angelina, Sienna, and their cousin Veronique. So this is the story that we're talking about for listeners that don't know the story. And I think this was something special where the community stepped up and carried us as a family, and Bridget's family as well. And Bridget's daughter Veronique tragically passed away as well. And it was a moment where everyone got together, and still, it's been 5 years on. People are still there with us, So this is the story that we're talking about. Yeah.
I got a feeling. I don't think the story needed the introduction, Danny. You're spoken about worldwide.
Yeah.
I constantly keep getting asked questions. Billy gets asked questions. I'm sure Ahmad's probably heard this question. Can you do what Danny did? Constantly. I've heard it from hundreds of men. And with all due respect, Danny, today I want to talk about Danny Abdallah.
Yep.
This story, for the ones that don't, for the few that don't, if you just type in the Abdallah family name in a Google search, it's going to be the first thing that comes up. But if you type in, how is Danny Abdallah doing? I don't think anything comes up.
Mm.
And I want to know, Danny, you're the forefront of I Forgive. You're spoken about worldwide about the strength that you and Layla, your beautiful wife, has shown. I want to know about Danny when he puts his head on the pillow, when there's no cameras, there's no public speaking. It's just you and your thoughts. How are you doing?
Look, I'm okay, and I thank God every day. Every day is a new day, and I'm blessed, and I consider myself grateful. You have your good days, you have your bad days, and you have your worst days. And, I always say there's people better off than me and there's people worse off than me. Life is about perspective. Ahmad just walked in. Alhamdulillah. He's injured, bruised and battered, but he's got a smile on his face. I look and I say to myself, there is better off and there's worse off, but it's what you do with it. That's important. I remember a number of years ago, early in the piece, I went and visited my doctor, old Lebanese man. He said to me, Danny, my grandmother had 16 children and only 8 survived. Back then, it was a common practice in the villages overseas where all these mothers would have lots of kids. They'd say, I've got 7 here and 4 in heaven. And they always had a smile on their face. So I say, okay, if that just happened only 50 years ago, who am I to complain with what they've been through? You know, we've been blessed with 2 girls, and they've been our purpose, and they've been our reason to get up with our other kids. And what's our goal as parents? I always say we've been through this tragedy, my wife and I, but our goal is for our kids to dream again, and we're getting there. So look, all in all, the events come and they're difficult, but we always count our blessings.
It's amazing.
Danny, you've pretty much answered the question I was going to ask, how you deal with grief and how you deal with it when you put your head down at night. Ahmad, you and Danny both deal with grief every day, mate, but in different ways. You deal with it in one way because you see it every day, Ahmad. You see it, you deal with it every day with the families. What you actually do, now for all those that don't know, what is your role within your community?
So I'm the undertaker. I wash, I shroud, I pray upon, and I bury the deceased of my community. And it hurts every day. Every funeral is like my own family. These are the fathers of my friends. These are the mothers of my friends. These are some of my friends. When you see them on a table and you got to wash them, you look back, and I remember recently I washed a friend of mine from school, and I remember back in the handball days, playing handball at school, and he used to bring the ball always so he can be the first to be on the court. And I was washing him, and all I could remember was those days. This is what Allah's blessed me with, and I cry all the time about it because you're giving him his final rights. And I do it in a way where this is something that it's never going to be forgotten. It's going to go to the top with it. It's going to be a witness for me. And that's why every time I hear a death, it affects me. You know, when I hear deaths, it's not like another person that just changes a channel. I think so much because I've seen so much of it. I think what they would have experienced as they were going through it, the trauma that is left behind, the families, the you know, especially we're going to talk about mental health and suicide, the calamity, the collateral damage that is left behind. The death doesn't see that. The world doesn't see it. The family lives with it. And I get to experience it. But I have one special thing that God's given me, and I love to stay connected with people. I ring everyone up a day, 2, 5, a week after their funeral. I'll send them a picture of their dad's grave. I say, I'm making prayers for your dad while he's at work. And it gives them a smile. It makes them remember. I don't want that death soul to ever be forgotten. He had a purpose. Just like Danny's kids, we should never forget them. We should never forget anyone that passes away because they meant something. You know, just last week you would have seen on social media, I got a call from the coroners. We had a deceased. He died between the 1st and the 30th of December 24. And I sent you the message. All I had was a name was Ziyad Abdallah Kanan. And she said, and I said to Danny, that could be a Muslim or a Christian name. Both names use that.
Yep.
Both religions use that. And, you know, I went to the address where he lived last. I knocked on the doors. No answers. One lady then said to me as I walked away, she goes, I think he was Muslim, but I don't know. Something in my heart told me God sent this guy to me for a reason. I went back and I said, you know what? Because he was a soul, I'm still going to bury him. I'm going to take upon me to be his next of kin and give him his rights. He's been in a cool room for 11 months.
Wow.
I've seen that,
We
yeah.
went and picked him up, and I told everyone, be here at 5:30 in the morning for his prayers. I made a video that night. I get a phone call 10 p.m. She goes, that's my uncle. Wow. You buried his brother on the 1st of January, 2025, Canaan. I said, yeah, I remember, because that's his brother. We've been trying to reach him. He stays off the radar. He changed his number. The next day, we solved it for him. I could have easily said, who cares? Like every other person. But I felt there was a duty for me as a human being. He could have been a Christian, but guess what? I would have still given him his rights. It didn't matter. What matters was I give him his rights.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. And you know what I love about what you guys do together, you brothers? You show that you're a devout Christian, Danny. And you once said to me, because I asked you, how did you do it? Did you fake it at the start when you forgave and it took you time, or you know, was it something you prepared for you, like you prepared yourself? Then you gave this analogy about that piggy bank.
Yeah, I'll share that with you.
Can you share that?
I always say, you know, faith is like a spiritual bank account. every good deed you do, every time you forgive, every time you be kind, every time you pray, and every time you go to church, you're depositing into this account. And one day, everyone has his spiritual GFC or recession that comes. If it's not full, you can't cash out. And when your tragedy comes in your life, and if you don't have that there, it's a lot harder to cope in your tragedy. And Layla and I were lucky because we still took our kids to church. We still done our prayers. We taught our kids to love, to forgive. And we've got a big family. And I always say, the bigger the family, the bigger the problems, but the greater the love. That's where you learn. Tannish, or how do you say that in English?
Ignore.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Forgive. Don't worry. And you practice that at home, you know. And I believe that we were called on that day, and we were able to cash out. So yeah, that's why I explained that.
You guys are breaking that so-called mainstream media wall. Yeah, where it's not about being a devout Christian or a devout Muslim. And you're not just talking two guys from the area. You're talking about someone that carries a ritual in your faith. Like, you're doing something that is massive in your religion. You're giving them basically their last rites.
Yeah.
You're fulfilling God's will.
We call it communal obligation, forgave. So it's a communal obligation that they have to be washed, shrouded and prayed upon, every Muslim that dies, every deceased. And if it doesn't, it comes back to the whole community. It's on them on the Day of Judgment.
So that's massive. You're not just talking about a Muslim in the area. You're talking about someone.
Leader that's leading the way.
Yeah?
Yep.
Then you got two gentlemen here, whether their beliefs are far different or are far similar, whatever it might be, there's one word, and I always use this word, Bill. It's humanity.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And that's at the forefront of what you both do. Am I correct in saying that?
100%. I mean, Danny remembers just before his children died, the story of young Jihad Darwich, the boy at Greenacre, where the lady hit the school classroom and killed the two kids.
I remember that.
I remember that, yes.
I did that funeral.
I saw him on TV that day.
I was on TV and I had his father with me, right there, sitting next to me, and his son's coffin's 30 centimeters behind
In the
his
car.
head, in the car.
In the car, yeah, I've seen that.
And I said to him before, I said, is it true you're going to retaliate? Because we want peace. He said, no, Ahmed. I was at her husband's funeral 6 months ago. I forgive her. Would you say that? I went Facebook Live. And he said, I forgive her. What's happened is an accident, it's a decree from God. This is his 10-year-old son. That's all he had back then. It was his best mate. And that was a message that gave forgiveness. And then you get Danny, who ups it by 3 levels, you know? And then you got bigger problems out there. I mean, I've had my friend lose 3 girls over 2 years each from the same diseases. And every single time he's got a smile on his face. He's saying, God gives, God take, Ahmed. Allah gave me. Allah took. Our faith is what bonds us. Yes. Without faith, we'd turn to destruction. We'd collapse. We'd go into all sorts of depressions, gambling, alcohol, whatever it is. But faith is what bonds you. And I don't care what the faith is. That's yours.
That's like me.
But have faith. Have a rope to hold on to.
Yep. Because when a man that fears God will always do the right thing. And that's what I believe.
100%, man. You know, you know, I look at Danny not as a Christian. Not once on that plane did I ask if he was a Christian when I first met him. I didn't care. He's a human to me. He was respecting me and I was respecting him. He had kids just like I had kids. He was going through the struggles of life just like me. He came out of a womb just like I did. He had a mother and a father. So he was just the same level as me. That's how I judge people. I judge people as a human. That, you know what, you go through problems and I go through problems. Let's bring our problems together and work on them. Let's help each other.
This is the reason why I wanted to meet you guys, and I saw what you guys do with especially men's mental health and well-being. And bringing up Ahmed, I said, man, let's do this together. Forgiveness is a humanitarian message. It's not an exclusive Christian message or an exclusive Muslim message. This is a message that we need, because in the spiritual realm, the best weapon you can use against the devil is forgiveness. It's like an atomic bomb.
My name is George Latouf. I am the owner and the executive chef of Clarence House Venues. Kitchen is like my baby. I treat the kitchen as my children. With love, passion, I live for the kitchen. I was only 18 years of age when I took up apprenticeship, and I worked hotels, 5-star, overseas, and I decided to open my own, and I like to please everyone. I am a happy person. When I see wedding, it makes me more happier. I don't think the owner, chef operator, that he puts the effort and the love what I do here.
Forgiveness is a humanitarian message. It's not an exclusive Christian message or an exclusive Muslim message. This is a message that we need, because in the spiritual realm, the best weapon you can use against the devil is forgiveness. It's like an atomic bomb. If you have an unforgiving heart, it's a devil's playground. He can come and poke at you and start telling you stories. As soon as you forgive, that's it. You set yourself free.
So we have a saying, forgive on the earth and the one up in the heavens will forgive you. Forgive on earth and the one in the heaven will forgive you. Because if you can't forgive your own blood brother and your own twin in the womb and your own mother and siblings, how can you be forgiven by the Almighty? How can you even ask for forgiveness when you can't forgive?
Absolutely.
It's very contradicting. Danny, we mentioned before how, like, obviously how you deal with everything, how you deal with loss. We spoke to Ahmad as well. You forgive. We all know that how big your heart is. We know what you've done. We know you're the face of life. Forgive Day. I want to paint you a picture. Though. As much as you can forgive, and hats off to you, bro. Hats off to you. You're at a family barbecue at home. Everyone's good. The drinks are flowing. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's doing what they need to do. The kids are playing. One of your kids comes up to you now and says to your dad, I want to go for a walk and go get ice cream. What do you say?
I'll tell him, don't be late. Go.
Bro.
You got me.
I
there,
believe.
You know,
Bro.
You got me there, man.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid. My kids still go on their scooters. I believe in.
You ride with them on the scooter.
Yeah, I got an e-scooter myself.
You ride
We
with
go
them.
cruising. I teach them, and you know why?
Bro,
Because I'm not going to let that determine who I am. Number one.
Yep.
I remember Layla came to me at the time and said, Danny, Walao, why did you let them go for a walk? I said, Layla, that was their time. If they were in the cinemas,
Yes.
they would have been gone.
Very well said, bro.
That's my mindset. And like I said, my kids, like you just said, the loss of my kids, I call it the gain of my kids. They're in heaven. And that's our goal as parents. We get caught up in this world, but understand there's something greater in heaven. So I'm not afraid, and I don't want them to have that. I don't want them to put that on them.
Yep.
I had a friend in the 70s. There was another family, and they came and saw us. They lost 3 kids as well, and just to see what happened with them, the mother was unforgiving, and there was a lot of things that happened that was a lot different to what they didn't let them watch TV. They wore black. They were angry when they put their music on the mother because she lost 3 out of her 6 kids. Done the exact opposite. They drowned, and I remember meeting now the 10-year-old. Now she's a grandmother. She goes, what happened with my mother? She couldn't let go. She goes, my grandkids and my kids can't even swim. It was like something that she had to let. She couldn't.
The PTSD.
Yeah.
Almost like PTSD.
They wouldn't let him go near the water.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him do anything. They wouldn't let him do this.
You know, Danny, I get this thing. People say to me, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I say, no, he wasn't. He was exactly where Allah wanted him. He was exactly where God had decreed for him to be, Because we have a saying, "La yusibuka illa ma kataba Allah." You will not accept what's written for you. You know, they say, "Oh, the bullet just missed him," or if he went down that road, he would have been, gone.
Yeah.
But no, there's a reason for everything. Everything is pre-planned and decreed. What you just said then was 100% correct. You wouldn't change anything on that day, whether they were in a cinema, whether they were just hanging in the backyard, whatever it was meant to happen. It was meant to happen.
Can I share with you guys something? There was a priest that came to our house. It was about 4 days after the tragedy. I haven't shared this before, but I'll share it. He said, if you could turn back time and the car was coming down and the kids were there, what would you do? Now, naturally, every parent would take them out and would jump in and let them survive. My wife said, I would leave it as it is. And he looked, he goes, you're the first parents that have said that. She goes, I don't ever want them to feel the pain that we're feeling. They're in heaven. She goes, we're the ones that are suffering. They're not suffering. And that's perspective there. Because imagine it was me and Layla. Those 6 kids, who's going to look after them?
Orphaned.
They would have been orphaned. As much as my mum or as much as my sister, they're never going to get the love of a parent. So it's always about, I always tell men, it's about perspective. It's how you see things as well.
Can I just tie something into exactly what you just said? And it's a phrase that I love, and I always use it for men that are struggling. As a lot of people know, I've lost 2 very close people in my life when I was 14 years old and when I was 28 years old. Lost 2 men to suicide. And the message I love to drive, Danny, Ahmed, committing suicide doesn't get rid of your pain. It only transfers it. So you might be going through unbearable pain. You can't take it anymore. Then you want to end your life to end the pain. But really that pain is getting passed on to your mum, to your dad,
Never goes.
to your siblings. And then they walk around and
Carry it.
they carry that. Like when my first cousin passed to suicide, my uncle and auntie were never the same. They were here, they were around, but not around.
Yeah.
You could look at them and they'll be looking straight through you.
Yeah.
So that's it's massive, but I can see what you mean by not jumping in front of it.
Yeah.
Not stopping it.
I with the suicide and men's mental health, I tell men, as soon as you take that attempt, it's not about you taking your own life. It's about you giving your kids permission to do it. And that's the hard part. And that's the thing I try and talk to men about that. It's not easy. And I come from a family, my grandfather took his own life on my mum's side. But he gave his son permission to do it, and my uncle, my mum's brother, did it.
Oh, wow.
So you've got to be careful and be strict, on making that choice. It's not easy. And that's a subject I don't understand fully, so I can't speak about it.
You can't.
And it's a mystery that we can never, understand. The only thing we can do is what helps is when men talk, when they let it out.
Yeah.
Always when I do suicides, I do a lot of suicides, and like we said, suicide doesn't discriminate with faith. Oh, he's Muslim, it's haram to do suicide. Listen, brother, don't judge. You don't know what people go through in their minds. Some of these guys are successful business people. Some of them have 5 kids they leave behind. Some of them go to the gym, train like a normal day. Some of them were police officers that went on duty, just a normal shift, and took their own life. Wow. Like no one could even tell you there was any signs. So you can't read through anymore. The problem with mental health now is people going to, the saddest thing for a human is when he withdraws from society and he gets into a dark place, and that's when the devil starts talking to him. And that's when he feels like he's not needed anymore. He's useless. And what makes it worse is when we disconnect from people, because we got this thing as a human. Oh, he doesn't call me. Why should I call him? You know, he didn't call me. And ask him, why should I? Nah, I'm not going to call him. Brother, I call everybody. The best thing that ever happened was unlimited calls, because I call everyone. I send people messages, how are you, brother? Just thinking about you. And they'll message me, bro, did you know what I'm going through? I go, no. I just, goes, bro, you just, I needed that. We're humans, bro. We all have a heart beating 110,000 times a day. It's beating. We should all feel with each other.
We're all created by the Creator.
Yeah.
Very true.
Amen.
I feel like with all that, ego's a big thing in this. Ego, like what you said, Ahmad. Like he hasn't called me. Why should I call him? But we said, like you said, you see people training at the gym, you wouldn't pick nothing of it. No. You wouldn't think nothing of it. But really, when people are actually withdrawing, bro, like they're going for something. And like a lot of us will think, then the ego comes into play. You think, man, no, this is like I'm not gonna call him. But hold on, maybe this guy is actually battling, bro.
Yeah.
And I've been there, bro. I've been there. I've withdrawn myself. Not bad. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but when it gets too much a bit, especially back then, I tend to withdraw.
That's the first reaction for men.
Withdraw, yeah? Withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like from everyone. You don't want to see anyone.
You turn your phone off, you become uncontactable.
Yeah.
I just sometimes don't even answer. Like I won't turn it off, but I won't answer. I'm just not in the mood. I'm just always, like, especially about 5-6 years ago, that when my dad passed away and stuff, I just wasn't. I didn't want to see anybody. And like check in on your mates, guys. I'm saying this straight down the camera. Check in on your mates. It's put your egos aside and just do it. You can help save a life, in my opinion.
It's easier to make a phone call now and speak to someone than go visit his grave. There's nothing harder than standing on top of a mountain of dirt and saying, I should have, I could have, I would have, why didn't I? Go and make that phone call now, because you know if he doesn't answer, you can go somewhere and find him. You'll find him. If you really look hard enough, you'll find him. But we're so engulfed in this world, in our own selves, that we have no time for anyone. But when it hits the fan, we seem to all go, why didn't we and why shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Why don't we make the effort, bro? This life is short, man. Wallah's short. This life is, we think it's long, but it's actually shorter than we think it is. A lot of us here, we're on the hill. We're heading down. Like we're just talking, we're about 3:30 p.m. now in our life.
Yeah, me and you. Sun's starting to set.
Sun's starting to set for us.
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago, the sun was just rising.
Does that scare you, boys?
No.
Nah.
Does that scare you?
Oh, look, I'll be honest, I'm scared of death, man.
You are?
I'm scared because I want my last actions to be good. I don't want to die in a state that I was heedless. Someone beeped at me, I got out, I did something. Like, you can go into these little things and you end up dying in that circumstance. That's why control, self-discipline is such a big factor as a human being. And that's why a lot of us here need to accommodate for each other. Be patient with one another. Patience with one another is a virtue.
Absolutely.
Being patient, this guy is a bit of a clicker. Be patient with him. Really? This guy needs a little bit more attention. Yep. Give it to him. It's not always about me, myself, and I. People will come to your funeral. I've seen it all the time. And at your funeral, they're going to talk about where they're going to go eat and where they're going to go next. And the people in the 3-4 steps behind can't even see your grave. They only came to tick the box. And then they'll walk away. And people will walk. And I'm usually the last one to leave, bro. And I look how everybody's put their hands around each other, exchange numbers. Oh, bro, I've been trying to catch you for a while. I've got a job for you, etc., etc. And they all leave the cemetery networking. But you've left his soul behind. And who's left behind? His wife, the mother, the children. And I think to myself, you know what? None of them are going to benefit you anymore. What benefits you now is your good deeds you did on this action, the legacy. So what this guy did, taught people how to forgive. What you guys are doing, making people aware of mental health.
Big words, Joey.
You're talking, Ahmed. It was like you were with us last night. We were at a Azeh.
Oh, yeah.
And Billy and I are at a stage in our life now because we're really close. Like I'll sometimes say something and be like, bro, I was just going to say that. Or he'll say something and it's like that was the next words that were coming out of my mouth. We're sitting at this Azeh, Ahmed. But what upset me was it was absolutely packed. We were sitting at the back and the noise, the talking.
Yeah.
And I just felt this anxiety because I actually had my eyes locked on my mate at the time. He'd just lost his brother.
In the line.
And he's sitting at the front and I was just looking at him and here I am thinking, what's he thinking? What can I do for him? How could I possibly make it just a little bit better? And then out of nowhere, it just got so loud and it was like these conversations were happening.
Heard a laugh as well.
And there was a laugh in there.
Yeah.
And when I heard that laugh,
Clicked it.
I came to click it, right? I got this anxiety. He goes, bro, what about this noise?
Wow.
And I looked at him and I was about to, he goes, you want to go?
That's our cue.
I go, now.
I go, that's our cue. And he goes, now.
And I shot up and I walked out for the sake of everyone there because I was about to turn just to say.
It could be your funeral tomorrow and people will do the same thing.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Absolutely.
I've been to Azza when that happens. Someone's actually got up from the line and said, "Guys, a bit of respect, please keep it down."
Yeah, I've seen that.
Have you seen that, Danny?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And I was like, and I'm like, hey, I felt like a relief because, like Joey said, the anxiety that was building, bro. It was
Mate, it raged me.
Did you see it?
It raged me. And if
they network.
yeah,
One of those.
But that's why when you said networking, and because you could hear those conversations happening about what they're planning.
I poured the slab today. I didn't do this.
Yeah.
I actually heard that yesterday.
I bought a site. Oh yeah, what'd you pick it up for?
I heard that yesterday,
Got
bro.
a good concreter.
Yeah.
Or if someone's passed away who's got a bit of a name, oh yeah, they're all gonna be at the funeral. I'll catch him there.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, I've made videos, and alhamdulillah that Allah's given me a platform that I can actually reach people. Where I've said on these platforms, don't come. People like you don't come because you're not benefiting the deceased. That deceased needs prayers. He needs forgiveness. He needs mercy. His family needs compassion, empathy. Don't come. You're wasting your time, your money. You're wasting your day. Go. That you're not needed. And people actually like, he's so right.
Wow.
Or when it's a gangster, you don't want to come because you want to tick the boxes because he's a somebody. Come to the one that
they
has
can
nobody.
say I was there.
Yeah.
yeah.
So every time now I get somebody who's, you know, like we had this guy that got shot a few weeks ago, UFC fighter. People ringing me, oh, I want to be in the wash. I knew him. All of a sudden you all know him. Nobody's going in the room. Me and his immediate family. That's it.
Good.
Because I have a duty of care on that deceased to protect him too. People come in there and talk. They go out there and they wobble. He had a bullet in his head. He had a bullet in his neck. He had a bullet in his...
Yeah.
We don't need people like this here. You're not a pigeon to give people information. This is sacred. The problem is we've lost touch. Wallah, Danny, we've lost touch with where we are. We've lost touch with ourselves. Everything goes now. You know, everything goes. I'll give you an example. I'm like this. I go this morning to get a blood test. Everyone's sitting on a seat. Not one person gets up for you. I've got a cast on my foot. I've got a cast on my arm.
Yeah,
I'm strong. I don't mind it. But I looked at it and I remember growing up, if I got on the bus and I saw an old lady, I'd get straight up.
Likewise. So true.
Yeah.
We've lost that etiquette, that discipline, that integrity in us, that human. We've lost humanity in us.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree.
Do you have a message, Ahmad, for both communities? Yeah, I find we're hurting each other. I find we're not coming together, and I'm not just talking about Muslim Christian. I'm talking Christian, Muslim. Brothers aren't being brothers, and when I say brothers, I'm not talking blood brothers. I'm talking brotherhood.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Oh, I'll tell you what I say. It's easy. Go and visit the cemetery. Go to Rookwood. Go and drive around those graves and read the names. Some of those names are exactly your name and my name. They share the same surname and the same first name. Some of them are our exact ages. Some of them have pictures of happiness and good times. And picture yourself that one day you'll be there or one of your loved ones will be there. What will you say to them now? Make do with what you have now with the time. My message to everyone out there, let it go. Let it go, because grudges don't exist at the cemetery. Grudges don't exist in the grave. Grudges, let go now of them. Because if you want the most merciful, the most kind, the most passionate to be merciful to you, then be merciful to the ones on the earth.
Well said.
Beautiful.
Very true. Ahmed, you said something to me. You said something. I'm going to ask you the same thing too, Danny, to get your thoughts on it. Salam Tek, you've had surgery. The scariest part of the surgery is going under anesthetic, correct?
Yeah.
What were you doing before you went under, and why did you do it?
My biggest fear is dying not in a good state, doing something that is not worthy of being mentioned to my Creator in a way that is not worth mentioned in the heavens or the angels. That day I had promised the 24-year-old that died last week on the motorbike in Greenacre, a good kid, I knew him. He had prayed his morning prayers, very good kid doing engineering at university, got hit by a motorbike, not even his fault. Only boy in the family, 6'5". I remember meeting him at a barbecue a few months ago at Rabi's.
Yep.
And I said, "You're a giant." And then he just laughed. I said, "Get rid of the motorbike." He was still new on the bike. I promised I'd wash him to the family and I'd give him his rights to the end. I couldn't jump in the grave because of my shoulder, but I did everything to the end. And I washed my friend's dad on the same day And I took them both to the cemetery, and I saw my other mate's mum had died at the cemetery, and I helped him too. I did all that from 7 a.m. I was booked in to be in hospital at 4:35 p.m. for surgery. I told my wife, pick me up at 3:30. My friend rocks up at 3:30 to the funeral parlour while I was waiting for my wife, and his dad had been already dropped off. He had just passed away, 69 years old, and he couldn't cope with it. I stood there with his dad and we cried. And we closed his mouth and we cried, and he said, this is my dad, Ahmad. How do I said, do what I did, man. Give it to Allah. He's gone back to the Almighty. He's not suffering anymore. I spent an extra half an hour with him, and I got dropped off at 4:30 at the hospital. As I went into that, that anesthetic they give you to put you to sleep, my mum died that way. My mum went in for a day surgery, never woke up. And I thought, God, if you take me this way, look what my last actions were. They were actions that I was trying to do good. There was actions that I'll be remembered for, because that's what I want. And that's why I try to tell every single person out there, that word you utter, that post you press post or send, that will never, ever be taken back. That will circulate long after you've left the earth. So be careful what you do out there, because we're all accountable, man. And there's nothing worse than being accountable in the grave. That's
Absolutely.
The worst accountability.
What are your thoughts on that, Danny?
Yeah, no, I agree. He's said it well. Look, if I had to give any advice on all the communities is don't let a tragedy occur in order for us to come united in the name of sorrow.
Yep.
We've got to learn to love one another, forgive one another. 80% of the stories you tell yourself about other people are probably wrong. There's only 20%. There was a moment in time, and we're all of background Lebanese. Lebanon is the shadow of what the world should be. And before in 1975, Eid, the Christians would visit and say, Happy Eid. Christmas would come, the Muslims would come and visit. We need to bring this back. Not just because my tragedy happened, then everyone reached out. We need to bring that back and love one another and forgive and share and respect each other. I think that's a big deal in my eyes, and I can see there is a movement now. I feel it, that they're all growing up in the same neighborhoods, and it's no longer us versus them. It's all of us together.
All of us together.
Yeah.
There's a thing we say, love for your brother what you love for yourself, right? That's in all religions, bro. Love for your brother what you love for yourself. You remember the day of my dad's funeral? You were there. He stood with me when I washed my dad and all that. As soon as I finished washing my dad, what did I do? I walked back in, then I washed another man, a stranger.
The same day?
It's right after it.
Right after it.
While everyone's with my dad. I prayed the prayer for my dad and the other man. And when I took him to the cemetery, I took them both in the same car. When I got to the gate of the cemetery, to the right was the man's grave. To the left was my dad's grave. My dad's grave was packed, hundreds and hundreds of people. The guy on the right had about 6, 7 people. I said, what would a true believer do? Love for your brother what you love for yourself. I'm burying him first.
What would your dad want?
That's exactly what my dad would have wanted. I turned right. I left my dad in the hearse. I took the man out. I jumped in the grave and I buried him with his son. And I said, now let me go bury my dad. And everyone ran to that man's and attended his funeral, then attended my dad's funeral, because I wanted to give them both the rights that they deserved. No one is better than anyone here except in our fear of God. The fear of God makes you at a higher level. How much do you fear God? How much do you fear the Creator? We all say we fear the Creator, but yet we go and sin and still do things that, I fear God. But brother, you really fear God? You wouldn't even utter that word to your mother or your father. I'm talking like mothers and fathers here. Saying to your parents, uff, that word, uff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in our Quran, the word uff is mentioned. It's not even a word. It's an action. Like, uff, you can't even do that to them. They ask you to go to do something, don't uff to them. I wish I had my mother back. I wish I could spend another 5 minutes with her. I wish I had my dad back. And that's why I tell these young guys, if you got parents, you are the richest person in the world right now. You got doors of paradise opened, and you've got the biggest mercy there, because after God, your parents are the biggest mercy. That mercy they have in them towards siblings is unmatched with anything else. Ask them.
No one. Your parents.
Yep.
It's true. Your parents are the ones. They're the only ones on this earth that want you to be better than them. They follow you around, and their rooftop is your platform.
Yeah.
And that's all they care. It's like they give everything out of them and they pass it to you. And they do it with a smile. And when you're dishonoring them, you're dishonoring the Creator.
You know when you said before, Danny, that if you had lost your kids, the parents had been lost and the kids stayed? I think of it now and think, you know how helpless those kids would have been without the parents?
Oh, a lot worse.
A lot worse. Because I see it, man. I've seen kids who the mum dies first and 45 days later the father dies. All under the age of 50. And they leave 3-4 kids behind. And then the family are ringing me going, I can't do with it, Ahmad. I can't look after him anymore. You know?
Yeah, it's a struggle.
Nobody can do it, bro.
Haram, man.
And we deal with this, bro. We do what we have to. But I'm telling you now, nobody will look after those kids like the mother and the father. That's why God kept you.
Yeah, he did.
That's why God kept you. He kept you because he got more kids.
He gave us, he blessed us with 2 kids. And, you know, the other day, I don't know if I shared it with you, and I was talking to my wife, and, you know, she misses Anthony, Angelina, and Sienna. And I said, what would you do to get them back? She goes, I'll do anything. I said, you know what? I go, God will give them back to you. But you have to give back Mary and Selena.
The 2 new ones.
The 2 new ones.
Oh.
And she looked at me like, why are you asking me that?
Yeah.
I go, because look what he blessed you with. You can't control life and you can't play God. But, you know, she goes, no, I'd leave it the way it is. You know, like you got to, and that comes back down what I was saying before, perspective. The way you see things is important in life. And that's the best form of antidepressant. You really got to find the positive in everything. And even with men, I think when you can turn your pain into purpose, that's the best way to get out of the hole that you're in. If you used to be an alcoholic, save alcoholics. You know, and you're off it, turn your pain into purpose. That pain that you had, go out there and help others. Me, I'm going through what I'm going through. I go now, I've become a chaplain. I speak in the jails. I talk to men about forgiveness, women's prisons, kids' prisons. And that helps me just as much as them. Look what Ahmad's doing. You know, he helps others. And that's...
I'm honoured, man, because once the phone call comes that my dad's about to die, or, you know, the message comes, Ahmad, what do I do? How do I prepare for my dad's ending? They're giving him a day or 2 or 3. I'll never forget that word now. That's a connection now with me forever because I'm in the whole process now.
It's a badge of honour.
It's a badge of honour. And I will not leave that person, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 funerals that day, till every single one of those person has been buried, given his rights, and then I leave the cemetery knowing that I've fulfilled my day. And I never lose touch with them all, bro. Every now and then I'll send them the messages. I'll stay in touch with them. You know, everyone will come to you at the start when you're in grief. Everyone is heads over heels to
They're there, they're around.
Yeah,
there. But brother, they don't need you now. There's enough. They need you in a week or 2, a month, a year, when they need to get back into society again. That's when we really need to be there for the people. And that's where people suffering depression and that, it's a long-term thing. It's not just give them the phone call, bro, you'll be right. Come on, let's go to the gym. It's ongoing, brother. And
100%.
And you know what? You got to take, Danny, sorry to cut you off, but this is your test. If God gives me someone with depression to look after, that's my test. That's my raising of ranks. Mm-hmm. That's a way of God cleansing me to raise my ranks in the next world by helping him. It's not a burden for me. It's a gift for me. That's how you got to take things in life.
You know, what I always say, the easiest part of what I went through was burying my kids. It's the after effect, and that's what you're touching on.
After effect.
That's the easiest part. You got everyone around you; they're all carrying you. It's then the first birthdays, the first Christmas, the first of everything. You know, that year that went past, I thought this is the year that I lived with them. This next year they're not going to be part of. Do you know what I'm saying? And it always comes back with grief as well. That's the easiest part. It's what happens after. Is where the pain is.
You know, one story I remember, Danny, and it's a bit like your story. One guy, it's a couple of years ago, young guy, I think he was about 28, got a successful business. I won't say what it is. And, you know, he left in the morning for work, and his wife, she had I think it was a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And she's gone about her day doing what she does. And he gets the phone call in the afternoon that his wife and kids have been killed in a car accident on the M4. She got squashed by a concrete truck, missing the turnoff.
It's a hard one.
That's tough, bro.
I had all 3 kids on stretchers in different sizes and the mother. But all I could think about that dad, what he said to me when he came for the funeral. He goes, Ahmed, he goes, I left the house, I was tripping over toys. I could smell nappies. I could smell the cooking every night. He goes, I came home that night. The house wasn't a home, it was a house. There was no more toys. There was no more kids crying. It was dead silent. He goes, my life had just changed in a split second. Everything I had was gone. How do you comfort someone like that, man? I forgive him to this day. I stay in touch with him to this day. You never get over it, bro.
No way.
That's why you got to value what you have.
100%.
That person that leaves your driveway in the morning may not return. That mother, that father, that sister, say those good words as they leave. Let it be a good memory. This is why we all have to be accountable for our last actions.
Ahmad, I got a question for you, bro. And I've had someone actually ask me a question about you. Or do you think Ahmad is, for the job that he does, is he desensitized? Like, is it just him going into an office, 9 to 5, come back home, and how many have you buried? Is it? Would you say in the thousands?
I've buried over 10,000 because I was grave digging from when I was 18. And I've washed over 6,000 bodies.
So you've washed 6,000 bodies. You've buried 10,000.
Plus.
Right? Plus.
You're talking 96 I started.
Wow.
Bro, my answer was there's no chance. I personally don't think he's desensitized because when I watch videos, I see the emotion.
Cry, man.
I see the emotion.
Beautiful.
I'm sitting next to you now, bro, and I feel the emotion.
You know, the moment my heart goes hard, I check myself. So why don't I feel anything? It's usually stories of the deceased that I now narrate from the family. What was his last actions? What was he like? You know, and I find one thing, and I say this to every family. I say, your dad would have wanted you all to be united after he dies. How did you know? I said, because it's the wish of every parent before he dies. He goes, bro, it's exactly what he said to us the night he died. I now have these stories which I can give back to families to give them comfort. I look on my hands when people say, are you desensitized? I go, are all my fingers the same? No. Every soul was created for a purpose. Every soul was handpicked by the Almighty Lord. Every soul was given life for a reason. We're not all the same. Even twins aren't the same, and triplets. So how can I be desensitized that this human lived the earth, walked amongst us, had dreams and ambitions just like us, and I think that that's just another piece of corpse that's getting into the ground. If I felt like that, I would quit tomorrow.
Wow.
And I don't want to feel like that, bro.
No, you can see. Like one thing about you, Ahmed, you have a white heart, and every time I'm with you, we always talk about life. I've never heard you speak about a person in a negative concept. Just it's always about your mission, about forgiveness at the doorstep of death, and that's drawn us even closer.
You know, Danny, I tell everyone, I just want to see all of us in paradise. I just want to see all of us. We're all going to die. We're all promised to die, right? We're all got to die. To go to the next world, we have to die. But I want to see us in the next world, interceders for each other. Oh God, he helped me. Oh God, he made that phone call to help me. He relieved me of a problem. He was there for good words in my life. I want to see us all as a community grow up. You know, we all the boys grew up in the area.
Yeah.
They want to see us all together next life.
Just innocent back then.
Innocent, bro. But they want to see us in the next world happy and together and not suffering. And that's how I feel like. I feel like we can do it together. We're on this sinking ship. Yeah, death is sink. We're going to sink. We're going to go down. But let's all go down together, united, holding hands, helping one another. And one person goes first, let the other one grab the hand of the other and not break the link. I don't care what religion you are, bro. You know, I tell people this story everywhere. I say, if a car broke down in front of me or a lady fell, I don't ask her, what faith are you, before I help her.
No.
I run to help as a human.
Absolutely.
I don't care what she is. She's a human. She's
Human
a mother.
first. Human first.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Put human first.
Ahmed, they call you the Aussie mammoth. They call you the Aussie mammoth.
There's a mammoth thing behind there.
There is. They call you the Aussie mammoth. You smell it. Mashallah, you're a big boy. You train hard based on your physique. But, bro, I think you're the Aussie mammoth at heart. I'm not just saying that to you, bro, because you're right next to me. You too, Danny. You could also, I can relay this to you. You both have big hearts. Ahmed, has your heart always been this big? Have you always thought like this, bro? Have you always been this gentle giant? I don't know. I don't want to know if you want. I don't want to touch on too much of your upbringing or your past. But have you always had this mentality?
I've always been a person that's I don't look at things on the outside. I look at things on the inside. And you know, I'll give you my first story visiting the cemetery. I was 17 years old. I got my P plates, and I had a weekend job at Woolworths Distribution Centre, Homebush, Underwood Road.
Yeah.
And I lived at Hurstville. So I'd go down King George's Road. I'd start 2 p.m. So I'd drive down King. I never had a girlfriend. I could never connect with a girl. I don't know what was wrong with me. And I was 17 years old. And I remember driving down on the Sunday and daylight savings had come into effect. So I was early or whatever happened, I was an hour early now.
Yep.
I hadn't looked at the time correctly. And I'd always see this sign saying Rookwood Necropolis left. So I decided to go into the cemetery.
On Homebush Bay Drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I drove in there, bro. 17 years old. I didn't know nothing, bro. I drove into the cemetery and the first section came up back then was the Muslim section too. And that was the only section that was there, just past the crematorium. I got out of this little van I was in and I started walking along the headstones. And the first grave I saw was a picture of a guy who was 31 years old, orange hair. I walked past him and I see another picture of a guy with orange hair who was about 28 years old. Same surname, Turkish background. And I looked and the first thing I thought, how did his parents feel? Their brothers died months apart. This is what I was thinking to myself. How did their mum feel? Because I was so close to my mum. How did their mum feel burying them both 4 or 5 months apart? And then I walked and I saw an 18-year-old and I see a 90-year-old and I started asking myself, why did this guy live 4 times more? Why did this guy live to 20? Why did this, I was pondering to myself. The following week I bought a whippersnipper and I'd go there even early and I started cutting the grass myself. I wanted to look neat and I was a very fussy person when it comes to stuff. And I remember this guy comes up to me and goes, who told you to do this? I said, no one. He goes, no, you're here on work release. You know those work release guys?
Yeah, from jail.
I said, no. I said, I'm doing it because this is the Muslim section and these people are dead. They can't cut the grass themselves. That's what I said to him. I said, so I'm making it look neat, presentable. I was a neat person. He just shook his head and walked away, not knowing that in a few months I'll be getting a job as a mortuary removal guy, picking up dead and then becoming a grave digger. And God had this plan set
Look
for
at
me.
that. That's destiny.
But I used to go there and cry, bro. I used to stand there and read names and cry. Just cry because the parents they left or the family they left or, I don't know, that was me, bro. That was just the way I was. I think sometimes I hated it. I was so soft-hearted and easygoing with people because I've been hurt a lot. But then I say, you know what? I got God, man. I got Allah. God's the best backer.
Amen.
He's the best planner. If I've got God on my side, I'll never lose, bro.
Nah,
It just makes me stronger. I got brothers like Danny and you guys and community that I know that, when something happens, people will come to good. Good never loses. It always prevails.
100%.
absolutely.
Danny, are you the same person you are today than before the accident?
That's a good question. As a kid, I'm probably different, but my mum used to say to me, a man has 2 teachers. First, it's his parents, and then it's his children. My children softened my heart a lot. I was doing kickboxing as a young kid, and I was growing up in Blacktown, and I was always in fights. I'd always get my revenge. I'd always get payback, and as a kid. But then I had my kids and my wife, and Layla had a strong faith that got me closer to my faith, and they taught me about love, about the haniyah you got to have for your kids and patience. And having 6 kids under 9, I used to say to Layla, because we wouldn't go visit people, because you're going to rock up someone's house with 6 kids
With an army.
Yeah.
I used to say, like, we're a country that needs no export.
Yeah.
And you saw me. I was on a plane with them, and we went to Disney World together with them, and they're the ones that really changed my heart. And then when the tragedy happened, I knew the only road to get my other, because I thought about those kids, but I thought about my other kids. How can I get them to the high ground? What's the next step? First and foremost, I was obedient to my faith, but now I understand the science behind it. Now I understand it's a gift you give yourself and your children.
So was there a split second? Accident happens.
Yep.
Did put your faith aside? Did human instinct kick in for a millisecond?
For me, it didn't kick in because my kids were in front of me and my daughter was conscious and my wife was there and I was still being that dad. I had to keep my dad hat on. And you couldn't, you hear stories where people say, if that happened to me, I'd do it. But when it comes to the crunch, there's things that are around you that doesn't necessarily happen to what you're thinking. And that's one thing. I couldn't leave my kids. I couldn't leave my wife. I was trying to keep them together.
Keep them together.
Yeah.
Where did that strength come from, bro?
God's grace. That's where it comes from.
You need strength, man. At the time of death, you need strength.
He carried us through it. I look back and I don't understand how I did things and yeah, it was only by His grace, because we done the impossible. Layla and I, you know, Layla that day, the hearse came. I was crying on the stairs. I couldn't get up. She goes, all we ever wanted to do was get our kids to heaven. She goes, this isn't a funeral. This is a wedding. And she was wearing a white dress, celebrating. And that comes only from above.
When I look at, when I look at images now around the world, when you're seeing what's happening, atrocities overseas, families wiped out, people losing 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
It just makes you think that what strength do they have? We can't even lose our Wi-Fi. We go crazy.
Yeah.
So true, bro.
They're losing families.
Yeah.
And I think I just pray, man. Like I said before, God has a plan for everything. They've been chosen. They've been chosen at another level of humanity.
Another level.
For us to learn from. For us living in these comfortable Western worlds to learn from calamities aren't as big as we think they are.
So true.
Because go to the hospital, man. Go visit the sick people and ask them, what do they want? You want reality in life? Cemetery and hospital. Cemetery, you'll see the ones that wanted things in life. Hospital, they're the ones that just let go of everything in life. Not one of them will ask you financially about anything. They just say, I wish I can go to the toilet on my own now. I wish I could just walk again.
The stuff we take for granted every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Can I ask you quickly? Sorry, Danny, what are you going to say?
No, it's one of those things where I say to guys, when you wake up, don't say I have to go to work. Say I get to go to work. You know, I get to go to the gym.
100%.
Change your language. Because if you have to, it's oofed.
Yeah.
It's when you get to, it's a blessing. And that's the ones in hospital, they wish they were able to go to the gym or even have your job that gets up at 6 a.m. to go to site. So count it as a blessing.
I love that. Don't have to, you get to.
You get to. Mindset.
Ask me, bro. I wish I could walk again now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could lift a weight.
Soon, brother.
Ahmad, can you do what Danny done? Honestly?
I don't know, man. I was tested first with my mum. It was pretty much the first. My mum's got 14 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And my mum's the third youngest. She's the first to die. And my mum, at the age of 59, we took her to hospital for a day surgery, just a bit of a back release so she can go to Turkey and have a good time. And, the ladies that were in the room with her for the day surgery were telling me she was making them crack up and laugh. That's what my mum. Before she went under the anesthetic and she never woke up. When I went there and I had a feeling, I was in the gym that morning, I had a feeling something's not right because they said we'll keep her overnight. And I just went straight to St. George Private and I seen them all in a panic mode there. And my mum was in this incubator with a dialysis machine and all this stuff. And I go, what's going on? Oh, we nicked the vessel, she hemorrhaged, she this, she that. It was their negligence. They lost at the end, but I wasn't going to bring my mum back. So I said, all right, fix it. I can't do anything. What do you mean you can't do anything? She's going to die. So what do you mean she's going to die? Like, can you imagine the first time I hear death, your own family member? And this was like 8 a.m. So I made a phone call to one of my aunties because they all have breakfast at each other's houses on the weekends. I said, my mum's in hospital. They go, no, she's back home. I said, no, she's here still. Oh, all right, what do you need? I said, you all better come say goodbye to her. Why? I said, she's going to die. And they all came. At 6:11 p.m, bro, her soul left. And I kept saying to myself, when it happens, I'm going to say, to Allah we belong and to Allah we shall return. To Allah we belong, to Allah we shall return. I just kept saying that to myself, that when it does happen, I want that test to pass. And when it did happen, and the guy sitting next to her wrote 6:11 p.m.
And you were saying it.
Deceased, and I said it. And I felt so good. And I stayed next to her till about 11:30 p.m. till the coroners came. They took her to the coroners. And even me, I couldn't get her out of the coroner. And I know him because it was over the Christmas break. And then I went and picked her up from the coroner. And I remember going to the coroners. And she came out in a body bag. And they go, can you see the ID on her arm? You got to identify her. I said, it's all right, it's my mum. And they all stood up and, felt bad for me. I said, it's fine. I've got a job to do now as a son. took her back. They washed her. Obviously, you know, her sisters washed her. We prayed upon her, and I took her to the cemetery and I buried her, me and my brother. And I buried her quicker before anyone could even get there, because that was her last wishes. But the hardest part was going back to the house that day when she had passed and smelling her smell, seeing her half cup of coffee there because I rushed her, seeing her abaya, you know, her clothes. No, wear that one, you know, the oldies. And then when I told the shops downstairs, because she lived on top of the shops, look, what does my mum owe you? Because she used to always get credit off him. No, it's fine. I said, no, she's not coming back. What do you mean? I guess she died. What do you mean she died? We just seen her the other day walking up and down. I said, she's dead. I couldn't believe I was the bearer of this news to people. But God gives you strength, man.
He gives you the strength.
You don't believe the strength you can get when a time comes, but prepare yourself for it. Have a foundation. And how do you have that foundation? By remembering death a lot. Because when you remember the destroyer of pleasure, because death is the destroyer of pleasure, then it prepares you for the news that will come, and prepare for it in a way that when it does come, how you will react. Because believe me, it can come for the closest person to you. How would you react? Some people take it good and others just lose the plot. And whatever two ways you take it ain't going to do anything to make the circumstances better, but they're going to make you do better and you be a family member and a human you still have a family to run. He still had kids and a wife and a family to look after, not to despite his business. And remember, he had the big company going and everything. There's still a lot of people relying on you. So you need to be strong, man. Death is certainty.
Absolutely.
Was washing your father different to washing someone else's father?
Yeah.
What did that do to you?
The hardest part was picking my father up, because when I was filling out the paperwork, when I went and got the van to the morgue and I went to pick him up and I wrote the paperwork, I knew it off by heart. Normally I have to look at the email. This one I knew my dad's date of birth, age, address. So I was filling it out like I knew it. And the surname was my surname. It's my dad. It's my oldest son's name. And then I get to the morgue and I go, it's my dad. And I took my dad in the van, and as I'm driving back from Randwick Hospital, I'm thinking, this is the guy that taught me how to drive. And I remembered when I was on my L's, he was teaching me his Datsun 120Y. And I was crunching the gears on South Terrace, and he was giving me backhanders and telling me, pull over.
Can't find them, grind them. Can't find them, grind them, bro.
Soft, you can't drive, go walk, you know. And I was just thinking, man, like I'm driving him now to his final destination. And when I watched him, man, I made my prayers and I said, just like everybody else, we're all going to go, man. I gave him his wash just like everybody else, and I gave him his rights. And the hardest part was placing him in the grave. You know, putting your dad in that grave and kissing him for the last time, and then never seeing the face again, and covering it with dirt. And you know one thing, and it's all religions do this, they throw dirt. From it we are created, to it we shall return, and from it we shall be resurrected.
From dust we were, to dust we be.
Yeah.
That's return, yeah.
Look at the impact of this. I figured it out that when you put dirt in your hands and you throw it, we throw it towards the head, you may be throwing it on your mum, your father, your loved one. You would never throw dirt on them if they were alive. It's disrespectful, right? But you're doing it now to humble yourself and to feel the specks of dirt that stay in your hand that you're going to this. Oh, you prepare for it, because you could be next. It's a wake-up call. All this is a wake-up call for us. The deceased have passed. They've gone forward. We call them the ones that have gone forward. We are the ones that need to worry about our lives and where we're going. And while we still got a chance that our heart beats, like you said, every morning when you get up, then make that difference, man. Make that legacy. Make that change. If you save one life, you've saved mankind.
Absolutely.
And you kill one, you've killed mankind. It's easier to save a life these days. It's easy to talk to someone who's contemplating suicide and going and taking him for lunch and spending that little bit of time with him and getting him back on track, and you've saved humanity. How easy is that, bro?
So much easier.
So much easier than living with the ramifications of what happens.
Absolutely.
Danny, we've mentioned what Billy and I are doing in regards to a charity that we're working on. So we're working on a charity called the BillyJoe Foundation. And in essence, once this is up and running, we want to be there for families that are affected by suicide, to help them financially, emotionally, just through that period where when someone does go suddenly, it's the last thing you're thinking about. So that's where we want to step in as a charity, as an organisation, to come in and help. when I was talking to you about it, you then mentioned your little getaway
Yeah.
that you got. Can you talk about what that did for you and your family?
We had a few friends and we all chipped in a number of years ago and we bought a farm, and I think it was meant to be for that moment. You know, in 2020, COVID came and we ended up going to the farm, and grief is tough at home. We got picked up and went to a new environment. I started cutting logs. My kids started riding their buggies. Layla started cooking again. We had a community. It helped us dramatically. I think it saved our marriage, because when you go through something, when you go some point of grief, you're there and it's like you're stuck in the mud. You can't move, especially, you know, children. It's not normal to lose your children, let alone your parents. But we were just stuck. We were on our backs. We couldn't do nothing. But being able to just pick up and go elsewhere and have a place where you can sort of reset and then come back, I believe it's so important through grief, and especially what you guys are doing. It's important to take those families. If you were able to do something like that, where there was a getaway, you could take families to reset and come back to life, because nature, I call it God's first writings. The birds, the trees, the seasons, and that's where you go and you find him, and
Peace.
And it's just gets peace in your heart, and you off the grid. It's something special, and that helped us so much, being able to do that. You know, reflecting, and time stops when you're out there, and when time stops, you can really work on your heart, and yeah, that helped us. That helped us a lot. That place.
It's just amazing, Billy. Like we're discussing so many things, and then we'll meet someone, and then meet someone else, and then we talk out loud and say what we want to do, and then we just see, like, because I remember we were sitting with Danny in his office, and we were talking about our dreams and us building like a retreat center for broken men, just to come for a 3-day getaway to reset. And then Danny rips out his phone. He's like, "Oh, I got this."
Equipped for it too.
And I'm going for it. And he's going, "Yeah, it's got cabins and you can have up to 100.
Wow.
It's owned by school. They used to take their kids there.
Look at the plan of God when you bought it.
Yeah,
It was always
it was predestined for us. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And
And
used for good after it too. To keep
yeah,
being used for
it
good.
has been used for good.
so we got to stop talking about coincidences, because nothing is a coincidence.
I don't believe in it.
No.
Nah,
This is
you know what I call coincidence? It's God remaining anonymous.
100%.
Yes.
He stays aside,
Stays
Yeah.
the same.
and he just
Yeah, it's so true.
And I'm loving what you're doing. And on the topic of business, you mentioned something that absolutely blew me away, right? And as someone that's in the construction industry,
Yep.
I hear how tradesmen get spoken to, how subcontractors get talked to. The construction industry has a long way to go when it comes to just that respect
The rights.
factor
Rights. Yeah.
and rights, yeah? But then Danny, you were telling me about Freddie, a long life
Yeah.
friend of yours. And you've got him in your business, he's in your HR department running it, but also what he does for the boys on site.
So Freddie, he's an old friend of 30 years, and he's a big musty bloke, and he does my HR, and he's a life coach as well. So his role is to make sure he allocates all the workers, but as soon as someone's feeling vulnerable and broken, he races to the job. He sits with them, he has coffee with them, talks to them, and just encourages them. And when they've got issues, even goes to their houses and stuff. So he's become that life coach, and it's done wonders to the business. It has. It's helped, and it's not about building buildings. It's about keeping everyone's heart, and everyone in sync.
Yeah.
And he does a lot. We had one of our couple of guys that almost have a meltdown. He raced over, had a coffee with them, have a week off, all good. He'd go visit them in the mornings, say good day, and talk to them and see if they're okay. And it's such an important thing to have, I believe, in a business. Just one person checking in. And how many this year I've had 3 people take their own lives in the industry that I know. and it's because there's no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And I just think that a whole life coach / HR role is so important, where you can be vulnerable and pick up the phone, and if you're having problems at home, there's someone there. Because 1/3 of your life is where? It's at work.
At work, yeah.
1/3 of your life, that's a lot of time. And if you've got someone you can tap into outside your environment at home, I think it's very important.
Did that just happen by chance, Danny? Or did you actually strategically put this into
it
place?
was, Freddie and I was an apprentice, Chippy. We used to work together with our old boss, and I started my business and he came across, and then I could see how impactful he was with the younger boys.
Yeah.
And I said, Freddie, I go, mate, that's your role now.
You had a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill.
You had a skill, yeah.
You know, you got to keep, look, at the end of the day, we worry about the heads on site. We've got to worry about their hearts.
Hearts.
You know, if you could keep their hearts at bay, it's a win-win for everyone.
It's hard work, man. It's not easy. It's not easy, bro. People think, people would already, when they listen to this, go, oh, that's hard, bro. How you going to have people and this and that costs money? But, if we boil down the barriers and put our hands together, everything's possible. Bro, they built the pyramids without cranes.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
So true, eh?
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's I want to bring up another organization. Gandhi, a brother who's with us here in the back somewhere. You came in with him.
Good looking fella too, Gandhi.
Ahmad.
Yeah, he was my Uber for the day.
The Shab Hulu, man.
So Gandhi has the Lighthouse Community Services.
Yeah.
They focus on youth. They do a lot of charity work. They get involved with community when there's tragedy that hits, whether it's bushfire, floods.
Everything.
They do it all. And he said a quote that absolutely blew me away. Lighting the path of darkness. And can we just talk about a bit about Gandhi Ahmed and what he's doing and the good work that he's got you and Danny involved in?
Look, it's not just Gandhi. There's a team behind Gandhi, and you're only as good as your team. Gandhi's got a passion for helping people. He does that in the community for work, but then he started Lighthouse Community Services, and it was a nobody before. There's so many community services out there, but how many of them are grassroots? How many of them will do the jobs that not everybody wants to do? How many of them want to just do the stuff that's seen and not unseen? Lighthouse was doing the jobs that are unseen. And now it's thrived into this thing where, obviously I'm on board, I help him a lot. And I'm telling you, it's not just doing the bushfires and that, but we've done people like kids, orphans. Like we've had people die, mothers die, the father doesn't want nothing to do with the kids. Just recently, 2 autistic kids, orphan. We're supporting them now. We've just sent them the auntie to get her visa back and come back to look after them, furnish their house, done everything for them. We've done that for another guy who's lost his mum and dad for 4 kids. We're supporting him, got him a car, got him everything they need now because they're 18 and 17. So Lighthouse is not just, we put food and food bank. It helps everywhere. But what I love about Gandhi is no nonsense.
Yeah, he is.
Gandhi's straight up. If you're bull crapping, he'll know. And, this industry sometimes has a lot of fakers in it. What I love with Gandhi's stuff is it's authentic. It's grassroots, and it comes from the heart. All his staff are young. They're not your social media butterflies and that. They're all you've met them all. They're all grassroots, man. They're
real
all haram, yeah. They're all miskin, and that's what I love about them, bro. That they'll go somewhere and they'll just sit there and enjoy the moment and learn. They want to learn. They want to be the next ones to carry this on. Especially if Gandhi doesn't look after his weight, he's kind of a statistic soon. We've got him on a diet.
You can tell straight away, Gandhi, where he comes. Like, you can tell he's always coming from a good place. You can just tell the heart he's got. And I haven't known him that long, bro, but I'm good at judging people. He's an absolute gentleman, and he's doing good things.
Gandhi saved my eldest daughter on a ship. We won a cruise together.
Oh, really? Wow.
All the kids were together. We were on one of those cruises, and they were all eating and laughing. And then Gandhi's looking and going, I think your daughter's choking. And I go, nah, she's all right, man. She's mucking around. And then next thing you see is Gandhi get up and give her the Heineken. And the prawn comes flying out.
Oh, well.
The whole ship's clapping for Gandhi. Saying, and now this daughter has 2 kids. And, she's a school teacher. And she still remembers that the other day.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and he goes to her, you got to give me half your salary because that's I just fuck around. But Gandhi's a brother, man. We've been through thick and thin. One thing about Gandhi is he's always there for the community, bro. He's here on his own time.
Yeah.
He's here on his own time. He'll do so much on his own time. And, you know, this is what I talk about. This work has to be authentic. Has to be people who want to do it. Like my job I do, has to be people that want to do it. It's not just a person you're washing. A washing machine can do washing. A dishwasher can wash.
Yep.
You're not just washing. You're actually doing a service, an obligation, you're bathing somebody, bro. Like, I know I would never want anyone to shower me. It's sacred.
It is
But
indeed.
imagine you're showering somebody you've never met and you've got to do it to the T, between the fingers, the toes, the ears, the this, and the way you gently move them and then you shroud them gently in a way that is, and you put the perfume on them and you carry them and you say the good words. It's A to Z for me, a way that I know will never be forgotten. You know, you forget who comes to your wedding, but you never forget who comes to your funeral.
That's true.
You always remember the people at your worst day of your life. And I've been very fortunate to be there at the worst day of people's life to make it easier for them. And I always find that God gives you the strength to do it, bro.
He does.
Always, you know, despite my calamities I go through, you know, exactly a year ago, I came off a motorbike and almost died. I broke 7 ribs, flailed my chest, went to ICU. Third day I'm at the funeral parlour, walking out of there. I go, I have to be here, even on crutches. We're all going to get tested. People say, oh, but why does so much bad stuff happen to you? But it's not bad. I don't look at it as bad. I look at it as tests. It's a cleanse. It's a raising of ranks. It's to make me stronger because there's more battles coming. Life's going to be full of battles, bro. Whatever God prepared him with before his big battle, there was a lot of battles he would have went through.
Yeah, it was a preparation.
There was preparation, and he only knows them. And those battles was what led to the big one, where you're losing that big news coming like that. It's not easy to just come.
way.
And God, one thing we forget is God doesn't burden. God will never burden a soul more than it can handle. God's not a burdener or an oppressor. Humans oppress each other. God's the most merciful. And God got him set up in a way, you and Layla, in a way ready for this, to deal with it. And they dealt with it exactly the way he told me. She wore the white dress on the funeral.
Yeah, and said it was a wedding.
And said it was a wedding. Wow.
Looking back now, Danny, that Ahmed said that. Can you join the dots as to God was leading into this moment?
I met Layla in Lebanon, and I just on that, my mum said to me, Danny, why would you marry in Lebanon? You can get anyone you want in Australia. It's very hard. Like, you know, families from. I said to her, Mum, Layla is that woman in my darkest hour. She'll be with me.
Wow.
A week after the tragedy, Mum goes, you remember why you married her? I said, Mum, my darkest hours arrived. It was like it was destined to happen. Like,
wow, man.
And that's where it all came from. To have someone like that. I always say the biggest decision you make in your life is who you choose to marry. They can make you or they can break you as a person. I've seen men that marry the right woman turn into mice. That marry the wrong woman turn into mice. And I've seen mice turn into men by marrying the right woman. You know, so it's one of those things.
It's a great analogy. Danny, I want to ask you something. I don't know if you remember this. We were sitting in this is a fatherhood question now.
Yep.
There's a lot of men out there, bro, that, as we all know, we're all fathers. I'm not going to say if we're grandfathers or not, but we'll keep that under wraps. But it's hard. We battle every day. Bro. On the outside, it looks like we're sweet, but we're always worried about the next move, the next repayment, if we were going to work. A lot of pressures outside noise, you know. And as we may look good on the outside, bro, but in hindsight, our mind's always ticking. Joseph and myself were sitting in your office and you said something to us. I don't know if you remember it. There's one thing going to work.
Yeah.
There's one thing going to work. You want to continue on that story? Do you know what I'm talking about?
We're all, us men are always under pressure. Especially in the beginning of our lives when we have young kids and how we provide. And unfortunately, a man's mood is measured on how he's providing for his family, what's coming up next. And it affects us. And I remember there was a point in my life where I'd come home and I'd be upset and frustrated. I want to rest, I'm tired and this and that. And then I just changed my mindset. And as soon as I'd get home, I'd work 12 hours. I'd look at myself in the car and I'd say, look, my day begins from now. So I'd be walking in at 5:30, 6 p.m. and I'd say to myself, my day started, not ended. Because what happens is when we walk in and we're coming home to rest, and kids, you know, you can't have a bad day with kids. They're young and they're running, you know, and you're going home to rest. What's your mindset? You know what? I'm tired. I've just finished work. I'm here I want to rest and it's not right. And And haram, your wife is trying her best, battling with the kids. So I always say to men, make sure you say when you get home, my day's begun. It changes your whole way of seeing things. And as your kids get older, you got to, when you first get married, you're the center of stage. The lighting's on you, the stage. You get married, it's you and your wife. And then as your kids grow, you end up being the person doing the curtains and the lighting. They're the center of the stage.
That's right.
You got to learn to shrink in order for them to grow. Because the worst thing you can see in a family is when a man becomes demanding when the kids need their mother.
Yeah.
And that, for me, I look at it, if a man's very emotional like that, I look at it as a very feminine point. A masculine is stoic.
It's weak.
He steps back, feed them first, shower them, I'm okay. You got to learn to shrink for them to grow. And there's a lot of things we miss out as men. And I believe that's super important because they come in and you can ruin the energy that's happening at home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
When you come in, you're very demanding and you want everything. You got to learn that, no, you got to be a person of few words and just more action and just servant leadership. You come in and you do what you can to contribute so you can end your day with your wife.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
I've taken that on board. The moment he said it to me, we were in the office, I'm like, mate,
It's actually changed my household.
100%.
Because
Look, I've been married 30 years now. Like I got married at 18. My wife was just under 18. And I know one thing we've stuck to all our lives is we don't make our problems other people's problems. My problems are always sorted out with me and my wife. And until you understand that and truly understand each other, then you become the breaths for each other. You become, I go, she goes, That's when you know you've let go and this is part of your life. When I do a funeral of someone who's been married 50 or 60 years, like I just did the other day, 57 years marriage, I always think of the wife that's left behind, 57 years with that man.
Yeah.
She knows him off by heart. You spend 2 years with a cat and you lose it, you get upset. 57 years, it's never the same. And I always tell these guys, be close to your mum now. She needs you more than ever because she'll follow soon. The broken heart exists. The loneliness, mate, 57, 60 years with somebody, 30 years is a long time to lose them overnight and not be there anymore. That's where, as siblings, we have to step up. And that's why I keep thinking to myself, I used to think to myself, I don't want to get attached to no one in life because I just don't want to let down at the end because it hurts. But you know what? It is what it is. You need love in life. You need comfort. You need that feeling of being comfortable with someone. 30 years of marriage with my wife now, and it feels like I just got married yesterday. She's still my best friend. She's still my soulmate. We can laugh about the times where we didn't have a car and I used to take my dad's car without him knowing because he leaves the keys in it and all this stuff. Go into my mum's house at night, steal a bit of fruit because I didn't have any fruit. Take awesome. The eggs, and we laugh about it, bro. And you know why we laugh? Because we've learned to keep our problems to ourselves. That's one advice I'd give every single person out there. Don't get telling your problems to people.
Good.
Yeah.
People don't care. They'll listen to your problem, then they'll use it against you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't think you'll get any empathy or sympathy from even your own mother-in-laws and that. Keep your problems, work them out yourself. That person you fell so in love with, you wanted them, you wrote them letters, you sent them flowers. You know that funny feeling at the start? Relive that because that's what keeps it nurtured. Don't let people interfere in your lives.
Well said.
I'm not a marriage guy, bro.
You're the love doctor, bro. You're the love doctor.
That's very well said.
Well said, man. Well
Beautiful, beautiful.
And men need to hear this.
100%.
We need to understand, how are you doing? What are you doing? We all need to understand what it takes on our journey, especially with kids and a family. Everyone gets caught up, you know?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And this message goes out to men, the husband and the wife.
Yep.
You're not a husband if you're sitting there putting it on your wife. That's not what makes you a man, right? And why it's important for the wife to hear this is we can talk about men's mental health all we want, but if the wife doesn't understand it, we want to be able to help them. Like, it's okay to walk up to your husband and say, babe, are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to have a little cry?
It's not weak.
Give that shoulder. Give that shoulder, because and on the flip side, there's women out there that might get turned off by by a man that shows emotion. He's weak.
But that's not a real wife.
No.
There you go.
That's not a real love.
So this is the balance.
You know, can I make a point to that, bro? Just for people out there as advice. When you get married, remember what you said to the priest or to the sheikh or whatever those vows you took, that you will clothe her, you will look after her, you will, if she was naked, she hide behind you.
Yeah.
Remember those words and stop hanging around. Stop being out late at night and coming home and only when your desires you want her and that's it. She's not an obstacle. She's your wife.
Absolutely.
She's your other half. She's the bearer of your children. Just like you respect your mum, respect your wife. And this is where a lot of the guys go wrong.
They fall short. They want to leave the house. They don't want to be at home.
If you haven't got happiness at home, you'll never find happiness outside your house.
You know, funny you say that. I look at time as a currency. And everything I do, I look at it as a liability or an investment. And so if I'm out, my mates want to go out on a Friday night, that's a liability.
Yeah.
If I want to go to my son watch him sport, that's an investment.
That's an investment.
You know, I've got friends that their kids, they come up and the kids don't hang out with him now they're older. Yeah. I said, what about when they were younger? They'd be out and about, partying and doing whatnot. And then I've got other friends that everywhere they went, they took their son. Now their son's 25. Dad, come to the beach with us. I'm going out with my mates. And the other guys, they're upset because their kids won't talk to them. So everything you got to look at, that the time you spend. When you're with the boys, I look at it, I'm sorry, maybe it's a liability because your kids need you today. It's an investment. Every time you're with them, you go watch them play sport. It's not for today, it's for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Every action you're making is for the
100%.
future.
Never thought of that.
That's beautifully put.
No, that's what works, bro. That's you got to be there for the foundations. If your foundations aren't strong, you'll crumble. You can't build a house on no foundations.
I was at my dad's hip when I was a boy.
Yeah.
I was at my dad's hip, going to the workshop with him, watching him fix cars. And as I got older, and he was there for footy and all that stuff, watching me play footy and all my. You're right, bro.
I took some of my staff to the farm for a weekend. I took my two boys with me. I was the only one with my kids.
Yeah.
I know they're going to grow older. My son's 11. Really, technically, I've got 4-5 more summers with him. And then he's going to be with his friends.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask myself this summer, I'm going to make the most of it. Because after this summer, the following, I've only got 4 more left. Because when they turn 16, 17, they want to feel independent.
Yeah.
So if you look at it that way, it's a different perspective again. You say, you know what, I'm going to make the most of it. I want to spend as much time as I can with them.
That is powerful because you're talking and I'm going through how I was with my father, and like we've mentioned before, like my connection with my dad, he loved watching the footy. You know, he'd ring me up Friday night, Bayi Ashamtamo, like what are you doing? You know, come over.
Watch the footy.
He used to watch the footy. He loved the pizza, the Domino's pizza, pepperoni.
Yeah.
But when it comes out of the oven, he wanted them always to push it back in because he loved the extra crispy.
Crispy, yeah, cracker.
Maharu ashway.
Mahru ashway with the chili,
Yeah.
with the chili flakes. This is beautiful. I'm absolutely loving this. I've got a question for both of you. Now, unfortunately, your friendship sometimes gets a bit of a backlash, whether it's the Christians coming after you, Danny, or it's the Muslim brothers coming after you, Ahmed. I just want, and I don't want your opinion because your opinion is going to be like, oh, people will say it's biased because Danny loves Ahmed loves Danny, they have a friendship there. I want you to get scripture. What advice can you give to the Christian brothers and what advice can you give to our Muslim brothers from scripture, from your holy book and your holy book that tells you that this is humane, this is normal, this is allowed in whatever it is we believe in?
We believe Jesus said, love thy neighbor. And in the 10 Commandments, love your neighbor. Even he went to the scream, forgive those who persecute you. Love your enemies. Anyone, your job on this earth is to do the loving and not the judging. Because like I said, our Creator created all of us. You know what I mean? So we believe that you have to love one another. It's easy to love a brother, but to love someone that's a stranger that you don't know, it's even harder. You got to love everyone. So that's our pretty much calling.
Look, for us, man, we're all the sons of Adam. We're all children of humanity.
There was a story once about the Prophet, peace be upon him. A funeral procession went past him, and he stood, and his Sahabas, his friend, said, "Oh, Prophet of Allah, you're standing, but it's not a believer. It's a non-believer." So he wasn't a Muslim. He said, "But isn't he a soul created by the Almighty? He's a soul. He's got value. I stand for the Creator." In other words, we respect each other because you're the creation of God. You're the creation of God. I'm the creation of God. So we live in harmony. We live in a way where we respect each other. Because if you go back to the years before, everyone had to respect each other. You know, there was certain rules of engagement in war that were adhered to. Don't kill the person that's farming. Don't kill the person worshipping. Don't kill the children or the ladies. Don't kill people who aren't fighting you. Don't chop down trees, etc., etc. So I look at it, as humans, we have to live each other. God created tribes and all these, factions around the world for us to all join together. You got the black, the yellow, the red, everything. We're meant to be all humans. Because at the end of the day, I use this analogy everywhere. If I went to the cemetery and there was no sign saying Christian section, Orthodox section, Muslim section, Jewish section, just graves with no names, no heads, no signs on them, no flags, just headstones, you'll make a prayer for everyone.
Absolutely.
Because you wouldn't know who's who. You would not discriminate, would you?
No.
So just be like that in life. Make a prayer for humanity. Make a prayer for God to save us all because we're all going to need it. Nobody here is exempt, brother. Nobody here has been promised paradise. You got to earn it. We say until your 2 feet enter paradise, you haven't made it. To the final hour, to the final minute, you will be tested on this earth. I don't believe someone who lives his life as Danny with tests like that and then forgiving, and somebody who causes corruption and steals and rapes and does all the bad can be on the same level as the good. Good and bad can't be on the same level. There has to be an adjudicator, a judge at the end. And that's all leveled here on this world.
And leave that for God. Don't judge one another.
Leave it for God.
Leave it for the Almighty. Our job is to respect, forgive, and love one another. That's all we can do on this earth.
You know, Danny, if I sat next to someone, I travel a lot, and you can't pick your passengers who you sit next to. I have a conversation with everyone. I want to know about people. What do you do? What's your life like? And I walk away amazed from what I first saw to what I got out of them. It's another soul. I just got to meet another soul. There was a time in the world we were all souls. They say 50,000 years before man came, we were all souls. We were all preordained souls. We lived. That's why sometimes you meet someone, you think, I've met him before.
Yeah.
Because those souls get along. And sometimes you can't get along with someone. There's an intuition in us as humans.
Yeah.
And it's inclined for that, bro. And that's why I love traveling in this world in peace. I want peace, bro. I believe the person at peace lives a much better life than someone who's not at peace.
It's funny you say that. I was having a chat with a friend of mine yesterday, and he's always about chasing what's right, chasing what's right. I've got to get my right. I've got to prove myself right. And because of that, he's lost relationships, children, wife, and he lives in the city by himself. And I said, why don't you, and one thing you learn is just chase peace. Put peace in every situation. Yeah. Don't worry about being right or wrong. Just find peace here. How can I bring peace to that situation? Or how can I bring peace to here? And I believe that's the best option rather than chasing what's right. Because sometimes we can agree to disagree. That picture of 6, I look at it as 6, you look at it as 9. We can fight all day long. Let's just bring peace to this situation.
We always say smile, man. Smile's charity.
Yeah.
To smile, that's giving a charity to someone. You smile at someone, that's a charity. Especially nowadays now, because you don't see much of it. You'd be surprised sometimes you judge people, but then when you get to know them, you say, bro, how could I think like that? And that's a lesson for us as humans, not to judge anyone, bro. I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what he's going through, and nobody knows what anyone's going through. Be good to each other. Be kind to one another, man. Forgive one another. Let it go, as they say. Wallah, let it go. If the guy cuts you off on the road, wave him. Good on you. You'll meet at the next lights. Who cares? You'll get there anyway, man.
Ahmad, I've got a question, bro. We live in a society today. Man, where people like chasing the status.
Yeah.
They love being. They want to be somebody. They want a name for themselves, whether it's legitly or down the other track. What message do you have to these people that are trying to chase a status and trying to be something?
Easy. Very, very easy question. Whatever you're called on this earth is not what you're going to be called in the heavens. The people can call you the honest one, the truthful one, but you know yourself you're not. You know what's worse than a stingy person?
What?
A generous person that reminds you of his generosity. That's worse than a stingy person.
Ah, yes.
You know, you want to be remembered when your soul goes up to heavens that this was the truthful guy. This was the person that forgave. This was the person that used to pay the debts. This was this. You want to be called by the good names. What you're known in the heavens is not what you're going to be known on the earth. You may be a nobody on this earth. I've buried so many people that are nobodies, that are unknowns. They write unknown on the bag. But I think to myself, this guy is known somewhere because God created him. So he's known by the Almighty. If some big name knew your name, look, he knows me. Imagine when the creator or all creation knows your name. Wow.
That's a win. That's a win.
Better.
That's
you
a
don't
win,
need
bro.
any backup.
Yeah, that's a win.
So don't worry about status. Status will destroy you.
Absolutely.
Because with status comes territory, comes responsibility, and comes, guess what? Haters.
Yeah, so
They're
true.
always trying to take you down. I've had so many people go into dawah, into the faith, into giving preaching, and then all of a sudden they go right off track. Why? Because they couldn't handle the backlash. If you're doing something good, know that people are going to talk about you.
Yeah.
You know, put the volume down. You know, someone said to me, there's one good thing on the TV, the one mad button, it's called the off button. You don't need to listen to the news if you don't want to. Turn it off. And the volume, turn it down. You turn the volume down, selective hearing, brother. I want to hear what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear good words. I want to hear people like Danny talking, like you guys talking.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear garbage. That's up to you where you put yourself in each situation.
Very true.
Guys, we can go on for
I'm getting hungry, man.
hours, but I think it is that time.
I think it is.
To have a feed. Danny, can't thank you enough, my brother Ahmed.
My pleasure, man.
We can't thank you
I
enough.
thank Danny for
No,
inviting me,
it's,
man. And
thank
when he
you.
asked me, even though I just done surgery 2 days ago, I said, I won't miss it.
Yeah, you're a legend. I told him yesterday, I go, you don't have to if you don't want to. He goes, no, I'm coming.
That's massive. Like we're big followers of you, Ahmed, as well. So when we saw the surgery, the message went out. We're like, boys, look, let's be prepared to postpone because it's on socials. Ahmed's done surgery. We didn't expect you to be here, bro, and for you to rock up 2 days post 3 surgeries, not just one,
3.
surgeries on the same day. You don't understand what this means for us.
It's humanity, bro. I will do what I can because, you know, I made a promise to myself when I went through kidney failure and I was sitting on dialysis. 8-9 hours a day, 3 days a week. I lost my week under a machine to filter my blood. And it makes you, when you get sick, you get the darkest days of your life. They become the best days of your life because you start to see things for what they are. And I made this promise and oath that if God gives me my health back, which he did through another kidney, someone gave me a kidney, a friend of mine, God bless him, that I will not waste any more time for this world. I will not run for this world anymore. The world will run to me. I know how this world is. It's like your shadow. If you chase your shadow, you'll never catch it. Turn around, your shadow follows you. And that's what I put in my life now. I said, God, use me for good and let me be an example for humanity. Wallah, I said humanity, not Muslims, not just humanity.
That's
in
beautiful.
goodness. That's what my prayer was every night as I was going through these sicknesses and pains. And I look now, 4 years post-transplant.
He answered your prayers.
He answered my prayers. I go around the whole world giving a message about forgiveness and mercy, about respecting your parents, about not bullying, about remembering death, remembering that we're here for temporary, that whatever's upsetting you today, it's not a problem. You know, whatever was on your problem that day, whatever business problem you had the day your kids passed away, once that news came, none of it meant anything anymore.
Superseded everything.
Superseded everything.
Yeah. Beautifully said, Ahmed. Billy.
Joey, this was phenomenal. Boys, I'm gonna just touch on what Joey said. Thank you so much. When I seen you, Ahmad, walk through that door like a soldier that's just come out of war,
Like RoboCop.
like RoboCop with a sling and a moon boot. I'm like, bro, this guy. I go, hats off to him, man. It's a testament to you as a man, for your upbringing as well, for your testament to your parents, mate. You're a soldier.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Danny, mate. It's been an absolute privilege to have you both on
my
here.
pleasure. Thank you, Ahmed.
Love you, Danny.
You guys have obviously we've touched on a lot of things that I know these people, our viewers, everyone, society can absolutely learn so much from. I've learned so much today, Joey.
100%.
And I just want to say from the bottom of both our hearts, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so
We
much.
just want to wish you well with what you guys are doing. It's close to our hearts as well. So, we can tap into men's hearts and help to the best of our ability.
Don't give up, boys. Keep going.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you,
Thank
Ahmed.
you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Clarence House, cannot thank you enough for opening your doors for us, to set it up, put your business on hold. They've got an event tonight. Andy, Mark, Sharon, and Mr. Latouf, you guys mean everything to us. Thank you so much for allowing us into your home. Mic'd up, our partners, Dan, Tom, mate, they literally took them 4 hours to pack last night. They lugged the whole studio here. We really appreciate it, guys. Until the next one, Bill.
Until the next one, Joey.
Guys, I'm your host, Joey.
And I'm Billy.
See you.
See you another one. Bye.
It's the BillyJoe Podcast, where the truth gets told. Stories from the heart, yeah, the vibe is bold. Talking real life, breaking through the pain. Every single episode, a change in the game. Billy and Joe, they bring the real talk. From the struggles and the wins to the late night walks. Voices of the people putting truth on blast. No filters, no masks, just facts that last. They shine a little light when the world feels cold. Conversations raw, turning stories to gold. From mental health battles to the dreams we chase.